Monday, September 8th to order, please. We'll start with the prayer and the pledge of allegiance by District 4 Commissioners. Commissioner Val.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Heavenly Father, we give you all honor and praise tonight. We thank you for saving our souls. We thank you for everything we have. We thank you for our families, our churches, our county, our friends, the ones we serve with. Everyone counting a blessing, Father, for what you give us. We know that it all comes from you. Please forgive us of our sins, Lord. We know that there are many each and every day. We know there's times that we fail you, that we fall short of what you would have us to do. We ask that you strengthen us to always continue to strive to be more like you. As we enter into this meeting tonight, we pray, Lord, that you be with each one, be with each heart, be with each mind, as we discuss the business that affects your people. Let us do it what's right in your eyes. All this we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Please join me. Pledge the flag. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next is the appearance of citizens. Well, let's do the approval of the agenda first before we do that. We need to move the number 13 to the front of intergovernmental.
Yes. Make a motion to move Tennessee Waste of Jobs to number 6 under governmental, and move the New River water line down to 13, or do you want to keep it in the same area? Keep it? All right.
Okay.
So would like to request we add the waste to jobs up front, have the
Okay.
presentation, get it done. If that's okay, Mr. Chairman.
All right. County Clerk Jeff Cole's not going to be here tonight either. So he wants to put that off until next month. And then under the intergovernmental, of course, it's old business, but we want to add the Oak Ridge Court discussion.
Yes.
And I think Commissioner Anthony Allen's got something he wants to speak about under that too. Is that okay with everybody?
Yes.
Yep.
All in favor of the approval as we read it? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next is the appearance of citizens. Name and address, please.
Todd Waterman, 418 Orchard Knob Road, Clinton. I'm here to ask you to pass a resolution tonight asking the full commission to approve a resolution to ask the EPA to extend or not to extend the deadline for enforcement of the 2024 coal ash rule, officially the legacy CCR rule. A lot of the environmental organizations, the same ones that were responsible for getting us our scrubber, incidentally, thanks to a lawsuit that they filed. Anyway, there's a lot of debate about what should happen to the coal ash at Bull Run, but that rule covers all of the coal ash impoundments at Bull Run for the first time. None of those were covered by the previous 2015 rule because all of those coal ash impoundments were closed just in time to get under the enforcement wire. So those were all excluded from coverage, and they're all covered now. I went to Chicago and testified to the EPA, one of many people who implored the EPA to protect us. There were people, there were tears streaming down their faces, who'd lost their loved ones. There's a woman there whose child had ocular cancer, which is vanishingly rare. found out that her best friend at school had ocular cancer too, and several other people right in that community. That school was built on top of coal ash. So it is nasty stuff. I just talked to Tracy this afternoon, and he was lamenting the fact that they just pulled out the swing over at the playground here. And I'm sad to see those kids lose a place to stay or a place to play. They really deserve a good place to play, and they deserve it soon. It's sad that TVA knowingly built that on top of something that they knew was toxic in the first place. Anyway, we can debate how the coal ash at Bull Run should be handled, but I believe that the whole community would be better off if the EPA is protecting us than if they're not. Because TDEC is unlikely to do anything that the Fed, they're not going to go beyond what the Fed does. And whether the EPA decides to leave the coal ash in place or to remove it safely to some place, which would have to be done very, very carefully, that would hopefully be decided by an EPA that's a little more protecting the citizens than the current one is. The current one is mostly protecting the fossil fuel industry. It's the world's it's the richest, most prosperous industry in the history of the world.
30 seconds.
And they have plenty of money to spend on campaign donations. That keeps a lot of people on their side. Anyway, I would just propose a resolution for someone of your choosing to write a letter, to write an official comment and to file it on the 15th. That's the deadline for filing it, which is also the day that the full commission meets. So if you have something ready to go that was bipartisan and acceptable to everyone, then you could simply pass it at the commission meeting and send that immediately to the EPA. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. I'm pleased to have the opportunity to speak. I'm Robin Graham. I live at 109 Nathan Lane in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. And I'm here because I strongly believe that the Tennessee Waste to Jobs Act, which you are about to learn, would be a really fantastic thing for Anderson County and for the Oak Ridge area. I first heard about it basically back last winter, and I've dug into it. I actually have read the summary of the bill in all its gory detail. I have been digging into the costs right now. For Oak Ridge, I know that it costs Oak Ridge $2 million, the city, a year to dispose of our household waste, and we do recycling too. And I think this bill would really make a difference to the community, and it would really expand recycling and reduce waste. We have some really good people who are working hard. I went and visited the Blockhouse Recycling Center this past week. I was really impressed with the young man that I spoke to there and his pride in the work that he's doing. And we need more support. We need be able to turn that waste into materials that are useful to the citizens rather than paying $26 a ton to haul it off to Chestnut Ridge. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other citizens to address this council? Seeing none, we'll move on. Next is the election of chairman and vice chairman.
I'd like to nominate Joan Isabel as chairman.
Okay. Any other nominations?
I'll second that.
Okay. Any other nominations? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much. It's a great privilege and a great honor. Thank you. Next is vice chairman. Have any volunteers?
I'll make a motion to nominate Phil Yeager as vice chair.
I think Mr. Wandell was wanting it. Yeah, we can do both.
No, that's fine if he wants. I just know Phil's been the vice chair, so I didn't know if he was interested.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I don't want to knock Phil out if he wants to still do it.
He's out of town.
Yeah, I hadn't
so-
talked to Phil, so,
Mr. Chairman,
yeah,
I'll nominate Tracy Wandell, vice chair.
okay.
Second.
All right, any other nominations? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair.
Thank you.
And going into the intergovernmental and legislative agendas that we have, I think the Vice Chairman's gonna be busy helping put all that stuff together, doing some of the legal work on putting that together, because there's gonna be a lot of things that come up under that. And I really welcome that coming here, because the public can actually see what happens in these other two very important meetings. A lot of things has come out of intergovernmental, a lot of things come out of legislative, especially American Nuclear. I mean, that's a great success story for Anderson County. All right, moving on, we'll go into the intergovernmental, and we're moving 13 to the front, so we're going to do the presentation. Tennessee Waste to Jobs. Mr. Wandell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm proud to introduce Mr. Gary Cohen. He has a short presentation. It's queued up. I'd like to thank Josh for getting that set up. And Mr. Cohen, you can help yourself to the microphone. And I'm not doing you any justice with your introduction, but I figured you can enlighten us and speak better than I. Thank you for being here, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you, Commissioner Wendell. Just, I really appreciate the invite. Just as a clarification, Mr. Chairman, how much time do I have?
As much as you need.
Okay, well, sir,
That's what we do in committees.
I promise that I will stay within 10 to 15 minutes and then leave room for questions. So I did bring my props here. I always bring my props, because when people talk about packaging, they don't necessarily know what packaging is. So if you look in your garbage can, you will see most of about 50% of what you throw away in your trash is packaging, and that's the industry I come out of. I just retired from 40 years in the packaging industry, and I'm the volunteer executive director for Tennessee Waste to Jobs. So may I hand out these, just so that you have some information from me. This is explanation. This will be my second page. 1, 2.
It's okay.
These folks too.
Please, please.
Okay. Do I have enough copies? Thank you. Last but not least. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm done. So the reason I'm here, I'm not a lobbyist. I'm a business guy, was a business guy. But I'm here as a taxpayer, and I believe I represent taxpayers here all over Tennessee. Plus, I represent the businesses who are in deep need of the stuff that we throw away. So when it comes down to it, one of the main concerns of Tennessee and in Anderson County regarding solid waste is who's going to foot the bill for disposing of the waste. Right now in Tennessee, taxpayers and local governments foot the bill for collecting, for hauling, and burying the packaging waste. Cities and counties are forced to raise tipping fees, increase property taxes, or cut services just to keep up with landfill costs. The Tennessee Waste to Jobs proposal flips that equation. It says those who profit from producing packaging should help pay for the system to collect and recycle it. These folks, the brands, the General Mills, the Mars, everything that you see in the supermarkets Those folks are the producers, okay? That's the principle behind extended producer responsibility. How many of you have heard of extended producer responsibility before? One person, two people. Okay, so that's why I have the basics. So the core question is, before you, and hopefully you'll support Tennessee Waste to Jobs, the key question, and it's going to come up in the months and the years ahead, is do we keep sending the bill to taxpayers and small towns already stretched thin, or do we share the cost with these producers, the brands and packaging companies who are already paying these fees in other states and other countries? If you believe the producers need to be part of the solution, then we're asking for your support. And I'd like to show you what Tennessee Waste to Jobs could do. How many of you have been to a material recovery facility where they actually recycle materials? So you really don't, you know that when they bring it in, okay, a lot of it is hand sorted and some of it is very rudimentary. I'd like to show you in this 30-second clip what exactly we are looking to bring to Tennessee, the type of automation. Sorry. This kind of automation represents the future with Tennessee Waste to Jobs. The ability to process 250,000 tons of multiple streams of packaging waste every year, reducing contamination rates, saving taxpayers hundreds of millions of dollars, and supplying the Tennessee companies with the recycled materials that they need. These modern material recovery facilities use AI technology, optical sorters that can register what exactly a piece of packaging looks like and separate it. It's all done with modern technology. A facility that you're seeing there is about $100 million to build. Here in Tennessee, we could probably safely use 3 of them. But as we know, taxpayers are not going to pay for it. We are ranked 48th in the nation for recycling. You can stop the video. I think it's running over. Thank you. So, let me briefly explain, and I promised I would keep this short because this is a complicated bill. So what I would ask, and I'm going to give you a very quick 30,000-foot overview of it so that if you, and hopefully you are interested, we can go ahead and have further discussions. But let me start with what is EPR. So if you go to that first page that I left you, Tennessee Waste to Jobs is an extended producer responsibility legislation. Well, what is extended producer responsibility, seeing as most of us do not know what it is and why it matters to Tennessee? So the origins were back in the 1990s, and it was used in an environmental protection strategy where the producers, the brands, take full responsibility for the product life cycle, including take-back, recycling, and disposal. The purpose is to reduce environmental impact by aligning economic incentives for better design and recycling infrastructure. And I'll touch on the recycling design in a second. This is not a tax. I repeat, this is not a tax. These EPR fees the EPR fees fund end-of-life services and are not taxes. They pay for the recycling, the recovery, and that infrastructure that you see there. Okay? EPR policy came out of Europe. This was back in the 1990s. Germany was one of the first countries to institute it because they were running out of space and they needed to have more sophisticated ways of dealing with their waste rather than burning it or landfilling it. So as you can see, EPR went from the 1990s all over Europe. It has passed all over Canada. It is all over Asia, South America, and here in the United States, over the past 4 years, it has passed in 7 states. It has passed in all blue states. We're trying to be the first Republican state to pass it. We are doing it in a much different way than the blue states have done it, and I can explain on that a little bit later, but we are focusing on the economic opportunities that instead of sending our trash to the landfill, that we can bring it to the companies that need it. And there's another video that we don't have time tonight that we have produced that will show the Tennessee companies, the aluminum companies, the tile companies, the glass companies, and the plastics companies that need the material back, and they can't get it. The aluminum industry right now, just to digress, 2/3 of our raw material aluminum comes from Canada, our raw materials. And we all know what's happening with raw materials from Canada these days with the tariffs. The aluminum industry helped produce this video. There's another video on our website, Tennessee Waste to Jobs, TN Waste to Jobs, that you will see how much they are in need of the aluminum, and yet we throw away 90% of the aluminum cans in this state and most of the country. So, as I said, it is passed in 7 states, Maine, Oregon, California, Minnesota, Colorado, Maryland, and Washington. We're trying to be the first Republican state. So, I mentioned it goes ahead and incentivizes the design. Well, we all know these folks, Amazon. And many of us will remember most of our stuff, it's still, to a small extent, comes in plastic bags, right? But for the most part, they're coming in this. And we asked ourselves, well, why did Amazon just decide to do this on their own? No. Because plastic, and to recycle plastic, costs more than paper. So they were charged a higher fee on the plastics in these other countries and these other states. They said, no, we're going to go to paper because paper is readily recyclable. So hence, EPR incentivized Amazon to change their packaging. And I could go on and on and on and on how many companies are changing and incentivizing their packaging so that it goes ahead and becomes more recyclable. Now, the question is, how do we go ahead and increase our recycling rates without increasing the infrastructure? And that is exactly what EPR does. It funds. It's a funding mechanism to go ahead and invest in the recycling infrastructure. If you would go to the second page, how am I doing on time, sir?
You're okay.
Okay.
3 more minutes if you could.
5. Okay.
Okay.
So, I covered some of this before. Okay, Tennessee Waste to Jobs, what it means for Anderson County, and I customized this. So currently in Tennessee, we only recycle about 12%. As I said, we're ranked 48th in the nation. We send millions and millions of tons of this packaging unnecessarily to the landfills. The local governments, like you folks, are left paying for the packaging waste problem. You didn't create it, and you can't fix alone. Local Tennessee companies, like the aluminum companies, the tile companies, they all need the materials. And hauling waste, and this is happening as we speak, because our landfills, especially the one in Middle Point, is getting filled up, and they're starting to go ahead and ship garbage out of state to Kentucky and Alabama. This is happening today, and we're paying for it. The taxpayers are paying for it. So, what does this do? Tennessee Waste to Jobs creates a nonprofit, producer-run, pro, as we called it, funded by the brands, that covers the cost of collection and recycling for their packaging waste at no cost to the taxpayer. Not a tax, I repeat, it's not a tax. Producers fund the system, not the municipalities or taxpayers. The pro creates and implements a plan along with TDEC, an advisory board made up of experts within the state of Tennessee to create a plan as to what's better for the state and for the local communities, and the local communities are still in control. Control is not taken from you. You are still part of the plan. It's just from now on, your taxpayers are not paying for it. It's the brands. So here in Anderson County, so in Tennessee we have 7.3 million, and we estimate that it costs every single resident in the state of Tennessee $65 a year just to get rid of this stuff in your garbage, which is about half of our trash. We estimate in the county of Tennessee, in county of Anderson, 80,000 population, this potentially could save the county $5.2 million a year. How? Because it's going to be recycled at full strength. you would have your packaging, all of the packaging recycled, and it is paying for it by the pro. That amount of tonnage is no longer on your budget. Simple. So the question, and I'll appreciate the time and leave it open for questions. The question is, who pays for it? Do we continue to go ahead and try to expand landfills, which is a policy that may come down, where they're going to remove or change the policy of, and you folks in Anderson County have the Jackson Law, and I'm not going to digress into it because that's a whole nother conversation, but you have local control. There is supposedly understanding that that local control is going to try to be removed so that the decisions about landfilling and whatnot for your solid waste is going to be taken out of your hands. So either you go that way, expand landfills, or we find a way to use our waste that Tennessee companies need. And I thank you very much, Commissioner Wandel, for asking me to come down. If I seem a little nervous, forgive me, I'm just rushing.
Oh, you've done fine.
Thank you.
Questions?
I'll just open it up if anybody's got questions. Gary, before, just quickly, what is it you could use from us if of course we got to go into committees and make decisions. We won't make a decision today, but what do you need from us?
We need your support. We need the support of the city mayors, the county mayors, the commissioners, to say, hey, we don't want to continue to go ahead and fund solid waste when there's other folks who have to have skin in the game. Okay, we support Tennessee Waste to Jobs from that perspective. Okay, we don't want to see more landfills. We don't want to see expand. In fact, we want our landfills to last longer. And the only way you're going to do that is to go ahead and get that stuff that we're burying and use it. So to answer your question, we need your support. And that's what I'm doing as a volunteer. I'm running around the state. I just retired 6 weeks ago, and this is what I'm doing, right?
Yeah, I got a question.
Go ahead, sir.
How's this supposed to work? Is this going to come by and pick up my recycling at my house? Or do I have to take it to a recycling center, or how does that work?
Well, it's a very good question, and I'll answer it real quick because then we're getting down into the weeds how it works. A plan is created, but a plan is based upon a needs assessment. So they go around and look at the entire state, and they say, where are the population centers where we could go ahead and it makes sense logistically to have curbside? And in a large town like Oak Ridge, it probably would make sense to go ahead and have curbside. If you go to other rural communities where it doesn't make sense, then you have a depot, because it costs too much to go ahead and send a truck. And I should mention, this is an opt-in. This is not a mandatory. We have gone ahead and made this legislation mandatory for the major counties. Only 7 counties. Davidson, any county with over 250,000. The smaller counties can opt in, so that you can choose to do that. It's still we leaving you that choice, but assuming you choose to, you will be part of the plan. That answer? Now you all know what EPR is.
I'm all for this. Always
sir.
have been since county commissioner. Of course, 40% of my business at one time was dealing with this, dealt with the design, installation, repair of these systems. So in dealing with, especially in Western North Carolina, where they mandate, where they have to reduce how much is going into the landfills. And in Georgia, they're doing the same thing. So, what my business did is come in and develop different ways to actually, the balers and all that, and to separate it. So I'm all for it. So do you need a letter?
We would love a letter of support. I can send Commissioner Wandel a template that other mayors and county mayors and city mayors have sent to us, and you can use that. I also, you did want to bring up one. This is also going to save businesses money. Those businesses that are paying for those 8 cube and 16 cube and 40 cube compacts on the back of their building, if they can go ahead and recycle 50% of it, they'll be filling up their their refuse less. Therefore, obviously, saving money. And also, obviously, if we're going ahead and diverting this stuff from the landfill, we're going to create a ton of jobs. So,
Okay, and another question.
Yes, sir.
I presume this is single stream recycling. Will you cover glass
Yeah, we have.
Oh, wow.
If you watch our video, and again, I appreciate, if you watch our video, here in the state of Tennessee, one of the things that we've learned, because we went out to the businesses, we said, how will the waste help you? I don't know if everybody here knows it, but Tennessee, 95% of the ceramic tile that is sold in the state, in the country, United States, is made right here in Tennessee. And the reason is because up in Weakley County, they have a ball clay deposit that every single major tile manufacturer come from all over the world to make the stuff here in Tennessee. They have gone on record to say we can use every single glass bottle and it's thrown away in the state of Tennessee, and we still need more sand. And we're throwing it away. And yet they're going ahead and mining. They have to go all the way to North Carolina, South Carolina to get sand, and we can go ahead and convert that stuff right here.
I think Commissioner McCamey, actually, did you ever go up to Somerset, or up to London, Kentucky, and see some of these other sorting facilities when they use inmate labor? Did you ever do that? I know you've always been a big supporter of the recycling.
I've been to the one in Knoxville at Rock 10.
Yeah, that's right, Knoxville.
But the mayor may be able to update us on our new recycling center. We've been working on that for a while. Is there?
I'll have to get Commissioner McCamey the latest from Robert Campbell, so.
Okay.
So you have a recycling center. I'm sorry.
We've got a solid waste board meeting Wednesday,
Right.
the 10th, at 4 o'clock in room 118A. And maybe we can have that information at our meeting, but we are in the process of building a new recycling center.
Yeah, because I think it's probably where this would need to go, is to solid waste for discussion.
We could do that.
I'll make a motion, Mr. Chairman, to send the Tennessee Waste to Jobs information to the Solid Waste Committee for further evaluation, and perhaps come back here in 30 days and give us an update.
I second.
And if you could send
My
that
pleasure. We also
template.
have my area director is here, Robin, so she could also answer any questions. She's a resident.
Okay, and if you could send that template to Commissioner Wandale, you
You bet.
said, and then he could get it to me and I get it to Solid Waste Board.
Thank you.
Okay, we've got a motion. Do we have a second?
I second.
Seconded by Commissioner Capshaw. Any other discussion on the motion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. You wanted to speak? Yeah, you'll have to come up front where they can hear you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you.
You have my name and address already. Yeah, I grew up not far from the Alcoa smelter, and that smelter, to get the aluminum out of that bauxite, took about a fourth of the entire output of the Tennessee Valley Authority, the entire 7-state output. That's a lot of electricity. But aluminum melts at, I think, 500 degrees, am I right? I mean, that's a piece of cake. It's obvious to recycle it. We're not doing that. All they do at Alcoa now is recycle aluminum. They're having to buy that aluminum from Canada and pay the tariffs on it when we could have those jobs right here. I mean, that's idiotic. And there are plenty of other industries that are basically doing the same thing. Thanks.
Thank you. Next is the New River water line information from Trevor Martin. Commissioner Wandale, you have that?
I believe I do, Mr. Chairman. I'm looking for the information. I'm not very well prepared, but basically, Mr. Chairman, that Trevor Martin and Jeff Elrod from the Anderson County Water Authority, we had a conference call and we sat on it together. Out of all of this, the 2010 and the 2012 water line extension for New River was done, and the Anderson County Water Authority had bid the project to be about $9 a linear foot, and then they laid about 47, and forgive me on my numbers, I don't have it exactly in front of me, we all should have emails about it, about 4,700 linear foot, and then they ran into various issues, whether it be resources or whatnot, so they backed off. It was originally 32,000 to 37,000 linear foot that needed to be ran all the way to the end, which was out past the church there. What's the name of that church again? Fork Mountain Baptist Church. So as we got into this, we seen the map TDEC had, and the map TDEC has with the state shows that water line going all the way past the church there and stopping. Of course, it ended up stopping much shorter because of various reasons. So when the Water Authority couldn't run the line any further, they put it out to bids. The $9 linear foot went to $15 and some change. So therefore, the remaining balance of linear foot that needed to be laid obviously shrunk in half because there wasn't enough funds to carry it all the way through. So after listening to Mr. Jeff Elrod from the Water Authority and Trevor Martin from TDEC AML, which stands for the Abandoned Mines and Land Management Program, it sounds as if there could be some opportunity to tap back into that same fund, which would be about $550,000. And then the other fund that was in addition to that, obviously that $550,000 wouldn't be enough to do everything that needs to be done. But there's another one that's AML, and forgive me, I'm going to butcher the acronyms, but I'm going to say it's IIFA, AML, IIFA. They have about 8.3 million of funds from the federal government that they can use, and my understanding is they could use any amount that might be required to complete the project. Now, in these discussions, Jeff from the Water Authority mentioned that there's some issues with the current line that was laid from the 2010-2012, and Trevor suggested from TDEC that perhaps we could marry the two grants, bring them together, fix the line that might have issues now, and then run it the rest of the way up to the end of the route there past the church. Obviously, there's some challenges. The chlorine in the line, that's a challenge, but you know, I think that if we can get the Water Authority to jump on board and at least say they would like to explore the issue and maybe get some engineering studies done on the front end to explore the whole possibility. I know TDEC is currently putting together the grant bid application for that IIFA AML grant. So that's kind of bringing everybody up to speed to where it's at right now, and I don't know if Mayor or anybody else has anything to add.
I did speak with some of the people from the ACWA today, and I plan on going to their next meeting for further discussion about this as well, for some clarification on that. And they were speaking about how our coal company actually paid from the top of the mountain down to the wash plant. That's what I was told today. So maybe more of this will come out in their next meeting, so we can report back, our findings next month under intergovernmental.
If it be appropriate, I'd like to make a motion to request the Anderson County Water Authority to consider entering I'd like to have the Anderson County Water Authority pursue the AML grants with TDEC AML to finish the water line to the end of Fork Mountain Baptist Church.
Okay.
I so move.
Seconded by Commissioner Anderson. Any discussion?
It is a letter requesting that. Is that what?
Yeah, I'm just asking they please,
Yeah, just wanted to asking what you were.
not demanding
Yeah.
they do it.
Yeah. Okay. Any discussion, any other comment? Commissioner Val.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank Commissioner Wandale for his efforts in this. Appreciate everybody's interest in this. We get a lot of issues brought before us as a full legislative body and as committees, and it affects one or two people. And we try to fix the problem. We walk away patting ourselves on the back that we've done something good. Even though we're only talking about, as Tracy explained, a little piece, the impact that this would have not only on those people, but everybody over there on that side of the mountain, I believe would have long-lasting effects. And I think it would open the door for bigger and better things. As the rest of you have done, I went over and talked to a lot of those people recently, and they'll be the first to tell you that down through the years, they have felt at least halfway neglected sometimes. Now, we can sit over here at the courthouse and say, well, they shouldn't feel that way because of this, because of that, and I get that. I understand why we would feel that. But they will be quick to take you on a memory trip down at the turn of the century when everybody was concerned with what went on in New River because of the coal that was being taken from the land over there. And once that shut down and everybody quit paying attention to them, then that's when things started getting a little slow and things started falling apart. They don't have a school anymore. They've got one store over there now. Please, when you hear the talk of, well, this is only going to affect a small group, please understand it's much more than that. It's a debt that we owe to those people who live over there that we must pay. And if we don't pay it at this opportunity, and I mean going and meeting with ACWA and letting them know, I'd love for all 16 of us to show up at the next ACWA meeting. That'd tickle me to death. But at least to show those people that we haven't forgot about the people from New River. I'd greatly appreciate it. I know Commissioner Isbell would, and I know they would. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Val. Well spoken. Okay. We had a first and second, and did we take the vote?
I don't think we have.
No, I think we still had discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimous. The next is Commissioner Anthony Allen.
Thank you. Congratulations, Mr. Chairman and Mr. Vice Chairman, on your election.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is just a small ask. In light of the American Nuclear Corporation site cleanup celebration event that happened August 19th at Aspire Park, I was talking with Steve Sanders, Director, State of Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation, and I talked to some more people also. And I asked this question: what use of the land would they caution against? And to a T, most of them answered this way. They said, do anything with the land except eat the dirt. So that indicated to me that they are very serious, that they have cleaned that property up very, very well, just don't eat the dirt. And so I was also thinking about former and deceased law director Jay Yeager. He had a vision of a nature trail on the cleaned up land there. I thought that was a good idea. So I would like to ask the Operations Committee to consider a public forum to solicit citizen input and to add to Director Yeager's vision for use of that cleanup property. I think it would be a good thing to involve people into this process of, being responsible and giving up their ideas about how to use that property. So I would like for a discussion, if possible, a motion if possible, or just to hear what you guys think about having a public forum for the citizens to come in and talk about the use of that property. Thank you.
Any discussion? Suggestions? Commissioner Wandale?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've been looking at it, and I appreciate Commissioner Allen bringing it up. We've got a couple of pieces of property in District 1 that we really need to put a set of eyes on and get the community's involvement, that being the property that Commissioner Allen's speaking of. It's 250 plus acres, the old Port Farm, the old landfill, and if we get the 5.6 acres back from the state, once they if we're able to get that back. So you know, I like the idea of, I certainly think community needs to be involved, the citizens of Anderson County, not just Claxton or District 1, everyone needs to have a say-so in it. So I don't know how we pursue that. Maybe we have an open forum. I don't know. Do we have a committee that oversees all of our properties or assets? I don't.
Yeah. I mean, we've got the Parks and Rec, you know, the
Conservation Board?
Conservation Board for the parks, but Mayor, I don't think we have.
No, sir. I will say to Commissioner Allen's point, the county commission actually approved a resolution. I don't have that resolution number off the top of my head or the date it passed, but it was for 292 or 294 some acres. That is the old Blockhouse Valley landfill and the surrounding acreage to be a nature preserve. And that was before, it was passed before I became mayor, and it's been on the books. The property is not under the Conservation Board. It was never, you know, established as a park where you got to get approval through TDEC and all of that. But that is an active resolution that was put in place by Anderson County Commission. You know, going forward, I guess once we have the final information from American Nuclear, if we want to make that part of that vision, then we could go through whatever steps to get that 5 acres and maybe incorporate that. But we could start by, I could dig out that resolution and submit it back to this committee, but we don't have like a land committee or anything like that. If we're going to do a forum, it could just be, you know, accomplished by this committee, or, you know, it just setting that up in the community. You wouldn't even have to have all members together. We've done that before, where we've had listening sessions and whoever can be here can be here.
Okay.
And Chairman, we've also did I mean, there's been a survey done for recreational, part of the recreational plan that the county put together a couple years ago, because I know the cities were involved with that too. But
The master plan.
the master plan and the public was sent out. There was workshops there, so we have some feedback from the community about what they want to see when it comes to recreational style things.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to get a copy of the resolution about the 294 plus acres that was done previously and bring it back to this committee next meeting.
Okay.
to review.
Have a motion, second by Commissioner Capshaw. Any others? Commissioner McCamey?
Mayor, the old landfill, it's not been fully released to the county, has it? And TDEC still have some monitoring they do.
We will have to monitor that for now until eternity. I mean, not really, but for a very long time. We'll still have to continue to monitor those wells. We've got the pond that we have to keep aerated. But my understanding is we can pretty much do what we want. You would need to have some limitations on the cell, which is not that, you know, that's not that large of an area when you look at the entire nearly 300 acres
Right.
that we've got out there. So, I mean, that is something where you would do something like, you know, just keep it grass, or, you know, high grass area, or it's got a lot of trees on it. That was how the remediation was accomplished with those poplars.
Right.
But we're certainly free to use everything else, you know. I mean, and you can walk on that. So like when we've had hunters and everything, that we had that clearance to be able to do that.
Yeah, that's where the teacher from Clinton Middle
Yes.
John Bird?
used to be Chris O. He still has something to do with it, doesn't he? When he takes students there on.
I don't know how active he still is. I have a meeting with Dr. Parrott because there's a contract with the schools where they have an individual that's out there. Anderson County government approves that as well, with one of the deputies to live out there and monitor everything. I don't know if it's tied to Creosote or not. It doesn't seem to be as active, but I still believe he's still doing the studies with the king snakes. I think it's king snakes or black snake.
King snakes and box turtles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, next is the Oak Ridge Court. We had a meeting, a joint meeting with city council members and other leaders of Oak Ridge, county commissioners. And the law director is gonna put some things together and get it back to the intergovernmental. Mr. Brooks? Before we get started, and then it was brought up in budget, and Commissioner Beauchamp is here, so after Mr. Brooks, if Commissioner Beauchamp would come up and explain to her what she had proposed, but go ahead.
Okay. Appear to be a little bit lost. We have, I guess, some proposals on the table which I have not advanced to the city of Oak Ridge because I don't have complete guidance from this body or full commission as to what that would look like. Now, two things that have happened. Commissioner Beauchamp's going to speak to one of them, and that is what came out of the budget committee. And then I think everybody here did receive your copy of a letter from Mayor Gooch in Oak Ridge with a somewhat of a proposal. And I have reached out to Roger Lloyd to get some idea of what the square footage is that's devoted to the court. But I can see all kinds of issues with that as well. So with that being said, we have the history of what has been done, and I believe Commissioner Isbell, I think I sent that out to you. I think it had been sent out previously, and you know, we were at $30,000 a year before the agreement ran out, and that's been about 2 years ago. I don't think there's been payments now for 2 years. So we have that gap to cover, and the pleasure of commission, we will gladly go back to my counterpart Tammy Rackert with the city and put on the table whatever your recommendation is, and again, depending on if you go with what the budget committee has come up with, I'm happy to present that. I think it addresses the rise in costs, takes into consideration things other than just utilities. I think that's something we need to consider as well. And we have this 2-year gap in which nothing has been paid that we want to look at as well, if that is responsive.
Okay. I know that you had put some things together, you know, as far as cost, but I didn't hear it spoken about, is like courtroom security. Who pays for that? County pay for it, or the city pay for it?
I think the county has to pay. The county has to provide the security. That falls within the sheriff's department responsibility for the courthouses. So there's that cost, and I don't have updated numbers on that. I apologize. You have transportation expense as well to bring the inmates back and forth 2 or 3 times a week, which is, I'm going to say, based on the last information I had, it was $50,000-$60,000 minimum, and it's gone up from there. So you know, the county is putting a lot into you know, just providing the security.
Well, even, you know, you got to pay for workers' comp too out of that.
Yeah.
And then what about the insurance on the building? Who pays for that?
It's county property, so the county's paying for the insurance.
All right.
We're paying for the utilities right now. Taxes is exempt, so we
And
don't
the
have property
liability
tax.
insurance on the
Liability
building as well.
insurance.
Okay.
Um,
And what about the last 5 years maintenance cost? Do you have anything like that? What's costed us, so we could average it out? What,
Yeah, I did, Commissioner, I did talk with Roger Lloyd about that, and it's basically just done in-house. They, with the maintenance crew that he has. So they've not really incurred outside expense, as I understand it, but has been handled in-house.
I think it's probably been 7 years ago since we actually redid the building, put a new
Correct.
roof on it, AC unit.
Yes.
Yeah, we ran over our budget.
Yeah, there
for
was,
that.
and I think it may have been in that packet, and I don't have it with me, but I think there was $400 and something thousand on an estimate for work that was proposed to be done, and that was before my time, so I don't know how much of it actually got done, but there was some pretty hefty renovation costs.
Okay.
I think the renovation cost was more like 800,000.
Could have been, I just,
Yeah.
um,
800,000.
It was double from what we had.
Do what?
It was almost double from what they had
Yeah.
proposed.
And in Mayor Gooch's letter, he talking about the square footage of the courtroom, but the clerk's office is part of General Sessions Court.
well, as is the hallway, as is where the restrooms are, that's all part of it.
Right.
It's not just the courtroom.
And in that letter also, he talked about some items that may need to be done, awnings for only the courtroom. But that'll be the county's responsibility. You know, I'm the bad guy that wants to do away with the Oak Ridge Court, according to some people, and that's never been my thing. My thing was that the private act says that the city of Oak Ridge shall provide. And we've got a nice building there that we'd be glad to rent them, you know. So they just need to keep up their end of the bargain.
Commissioner Wandell?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate Commissioner McCamey mentioning the private act. I just want to kind of give an overview real quickly so the people at home know what we're talking about, because I think we kind of jumped right in there. But this is General Sessions 2 Division Court in Oak Ridge that's been there for quite some time. Yes, we paid to get it there and put it there. And as our law director mentioned, we had an agreement in place and it ended a couple of years ago, and we just haven't picked it up for whatever reason. So we had a meeting in Oak Ridge at the facility, the General Sessions Division 2 Court, and everybody showed up. I know the mayor had a conflict with her organization she's the president of, and she couldn't make it. But I think everybody showed up, all the councilmen, and Mayor Gooch, he showed up. It was a good discussion, and I felt like everybody was on the same page. The court needs to stay there. I'm in agreement with that as well. I felt like Mayor Gooch's letter was fair. I understand we can start looking at square feet and doing all these other things, but what I'd like to see is Commissioner Beauchamp. She did a great job at the meeting, kind of being the MC, I'll call it, not really browbeating anybody, which I appreciate. But if we could just kind of, I feel like we got the dialogue there. What I do not want to see is I do not want to see us go back to the old days when I first got on commission, where we were adversaries versus being friends and mutual neighbors. Absolutely. We're all in the same county. We all want the same things. And quite frankly, I think the city of Oak Ridge has done a lot of tremendous things lately. And I remember the old mall there that was just an eyesore, collecting a tax debt that never was paid. And we all chipped in on that to get it to where it's at today. So I just hope that we can, I would prefer, Mr. Chairman, to have Commissioner Beauchamp come up, kind of lay out some ideas, but let's not go backwards. Let's not start looking at all. I mean, from my perspective, we should have talked about all these things at that meeting. if we want to start talking about square foot, I mean, I could throw out the veterans office over there and, you know, the clerk's office and all this, but we don't need to get into all that. What we need is a solution. We need the revenue to start coming in, and we can use that to help offset some of the costs. And I think Oak Ridge will step up and do more than they're saying in this letter. I believe that. Thank you.
Anybody else got anything else before I ask Commissioner Beauchamp? If you don't mind.
All right, thank you guys for listening to me again. So in budget the other night, I threw out some numbers. I added up the numbers that Mr. Brooks had sent us. And the total for the utilities come out to $34,090.50. So, and this was before Mr. Gooch's letter, Mayor Gooch, before we received that on Friday. This was Thursday at the budget meeting. I was like, we got to move forward with something. We're stuck in a rut. So I asked the elected officials, if we move the court today, here, wherever, would you get rid of any employees? We're going to save cost on employees. We want to talk about employees, and the city of Oak Ridge should help pay those employees. Then if we're going to keep them, why should the city of Oak Ridge help pay? That's my opinion on that. Transportation costs, we need to throw out the facts. They're not making 2-3 trips a week. They're making 1 trip a week, and Judge Tuck has cut that in half. They were, before we had a 9 o'clock docket, they would leave. We'd have a 1 o'clock docket. They'd have to bring another set of inmates back. I've got the numbers from Judge Tuck. 2019, there was 91 total trips made. We're not going to count the COVID years because those were crazy years. We were doing video arraignments, you know, Tennessee Supreme Court had us shut down, so there was not a lot going on during the COVID years. In 2023, there was 47 trips made, and in 2024, there was 45 trips made. So that was inmates coming to Division II court to have their plea taken care of, to have it adjudicated. So those trips have been cut down a lot. So significant number in that. My fear is there's talk with the city of Oak Ridge that they are going to buy the federal building. I don't know if everybody knows this, but Trump has ordered them out of that building, and the city of Oak Ridge is looking about purchasing that building. So if we're going to ask the city to go by the private act, then we're about to lose money, because they could put that court into that building and we get zero, and we're stuck there with a shell. So my motion that came out of budget the other night was $50,000 that the city of Oak Ridge would pay us until 2030. So that gives us 5 years. I said I didn't want to get into a long-term contract with them, and I think everybody deserves that right to get out of a contract after 5 years if they don't want it, and we may have other plans after that. And that they would pay us a one-time payment of $50,000 to help us with some of the roof repairs, because the circuit court clerk has run into that several times where they've had to patch it and it's coming down into the file room and things like that. We probably do need a new roof on the building. It's an old roof. Right now we're doing the best we can with patching it up. So I took the old numbers that we had, the $30,000 that they were paying us, and then they paid us a one-time payment of the $70,000 that was supposed to help with that HVAC unit that we forgot to put in the original plan that we had to put an HVAC system on. So I just took that number, added 20 more thousand to it with inflation, things like that. Our electricity and things are going to go up in the wintertime. Rates are going up anyway, so I added those costs in there. Even with them, that would take out the whole utilities. So they're paying the whole utilities with that $50,000, and that would still give us $15,909.50. That would offset some of that transportation gas cost, and then help with the roof repairs. So that was my motion. I actually talked to Mayor Gooch on Saturday. He wanted to make sure I got the letter. I told him that I had made a motion out of budget. He looks forward to seeing that. I told him it would come to full commission on Monday night. He said he just wanted to get negotiations started, so there's nothing set in stone with his letter, but he wanted to let me know that he had sent it, and he looks forward to seeing what we present next, and he will talk to Tammy about that. But that was just where I was going. I mean, that was the number I threw out. That's the way I see it. I feel like if we don't do something and we don't fix this, one, everybody heard it. The city of Oak Ridge loved that we came together. I can't tell you how many of the city leaders come up to me afterward and said, can we do this about every 6 months? Because you all don't know what the city needs, and we don't know what the county's doing. And it was just a good environment. So I would like to see us do that. I mentioned that at budget. And just start that open line of communication with our cities, Rocky Top, Norris, Clinton, all of them. I think that was a good start to open that door of communication so we know what's going on in our cities as well. So my fear is, after knowing the talks of them purchasing the federal building, is they could say, okay, I'm going to go with your private act and I'm going to see you and move it over here, and now you're stuck with a courtroom that nobody can service. I don't know what we would do with that.
Sell it.
Move it, bulldoze it to the ground. I mean,
Sell the whole thing.
I don't know what they would do with it. So that's my thing on that, is I just want us to be cautious of how we approach it. And that was my motion that came out of budget.
Thank you.
Did the motion pass in budget?
It did. Commissioner Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm sorry I wasn't able to attend the workshop, but I like the motion that Commissioner Beauchamp proposed and that amount. And when it comes up next Monday, I plan to vote yes for that. I think it's a good idea that it's got that sunset of 2030 on it, because I know Division II's Anderson County Court, it's not the 7th Judicial District, but the footprint of the 7th Judicial District could change after 2030, so we never know what we're going to be doing with courts. So I think it's a good idea to kind of sunset that at 2030 and not have some 20 or 30 year contract that we'd be tied with the city with. So I'll vote yes next Monday.
Okay. Any other discussion?
Yeah.
Commissioner Barron.
I would think that we accept Mayor Gooch's letter, the way how he's got it detailed out there. I think that, you know, Oak Ridge City pays taxes to the county, and they get very little services out of the county, you know, so I think this is more than reasonable for them to do that. We all agree that we can't take that out because we can't move it back over here. There's no parking or anything like that. It benefits us both, but they're making an effort. So I would accept that, because like every month we're in here spending money here, there, yonder, and everything like that. And for the 3 years I've been on this commission, I don't think we've spent $1 in my district, you know? Not $1, other than ambulance service. We do get ambulance service, but that's the only thing my district has ever gotten that I know of. And if you've got an example of where the county is spending money in my district, then tell me.
The TIFs that this body approved really spearheaded, and I was one of the ones that pushed the original TIF down there for Aubrey's and all that is. You know, I mean, it was really contentious back then. As I said, if we do that, you know, it's going to spearhead and it's going to balloon, and it did. So, you know, we do give money back and support Oak Ridge. I always have, and I support having the court down there. But we do a lot, and it's just like, and part of my proposal is going to be, what do we do for the city of Rocky Top? If we've done TIFs for Clinton, we've done them from Oak Ridge. And then we had the mayor come in here and ask for a measly amount to keep from having to raise taxes. They were turned down. We've never done a TIF for the north end of the county, and we're asking for water, you know, for New River and all that. And it seems like, you know, everybody else is just bustling and growing out of seams, and then the north end of the county is just being shut back. But I do understand. I support the court, and I support what's going on over there, and I've supported the TIFs. But the TIFs is a substantial amount of money that Anderson County has really invested in Oak Ridge.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to get into what money spent where and what's money spent there, but every year we've given money to fire departments that service the cities. So we are giving back to all the districts. I know sometimes the more we gave money towards the Scarborough of 85, we've given money to the city of Clinton, which is my district. We've given some money to Rocky Top, which is commissioners, the chairman's district. So I just want that on record. We are giving back to our cities and our communities, and I think partnerships with our cities are very important. I represent a district that is made up pretty much 95, 98% of the city limits. So just like my friends in Oak Ridge that represent their city. So partnerships are great. I think there's some more partnerships we can do with our cities because I think they are taxpayers. I'm a taxpayer. I live in the city limits and I pay county taxes and I pay city taxes. So I understand that, and I think that we can work together, and I hope we do. So.
Well said, Commissioner Foster. Or Commissioner Waddell.
Well, good discussions, and again, I don't want to go backwards at all. I think Commissioner Foster summarized it well. Just one other thing, we did do 250 on the fire stairs, whatever it is fire stuff. But,
Oh, yeah.
But I'm not saying that to
That
say
benefits everybody.
Yeah, no, but you're true. But we want to work together. We don't want to
Right.
say you did this, I did that. And trust me, when I first got on commission, that's all I did is badmouth Oak Ridge. I mean, I did that for years, and didn't get me very far either. But Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion, since it passed Budget Committee. I like what the Budget Committee had to say. I mean, this is just to throw it out there and respond. I'd like to make a motion that we ask the law director to respond to the Mayor Gooch and the City Council with $50,000 to 2030, 5 years, one-time payment of $50,000, and so we can use that money to help with the roofs. So I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Seconded by Commissioner Capshaw. Discussion on the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
That's one no. Okay. Motion passes. Okay. Any other discussion on that before we move on? And I apologize about getting off track, but it's just, I really, and I've got people, that's always here from New River and from the city of Rocky Top, and I know their needs, as well as Clinton and Oak Ridge, and I really support everybody else's district. I do everything that I can to do that. And I appreciate everybody being here. Appreciate you being commissioners, because not everybody's cut out to do it. Okay?
Mr. Chairman, if it's okay with you, and okay with Commissioner Varian to his request, I wouldn't mind making a motion to accept Mayor Gooch's letter and put it on the record, if that's okay with you. Is that what you was looking for?
No,
Okay.
it doesn't matter. I mean,
Okay.
it's voted down, it's voted down. I mean,
Well, I don't think the letter
I don't
was-
need a piece of paper to say it. It's
Well,
voted
the letter
down.
wasn't voted down. I was just gonna say we could receive it and put it on the minutes so everybody could see it. But if you don't want to do that, I'm good with that too. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, I represent Oliver Springs. and
Yeah, you
that's-
do.
That city's not been mentioned here tonight.
Way to go, Commissioner.
I said all cities, okay, I said all.
But, they don't ask for much, and they don't get very much.
That's true.
So I just wanted to point that out, that I do represent the city of Oliver Springs.
We did put a roof on at VFW.
Yeah, that wasn't the city, though. That was VFW.
Okay.
All right, we'll move on. Okay, that got everything under intergovernmental. And under legislative, we've got things that we talked about there that's going to be under law director's report. Do you want to wait to the law director's report, or do you want to take it up under legislative?
Which one?
Well, one thing is the Fireworks Private Act.
I just leave it under the law director's report.
Okay. All right. So going forward, what we'll do is we'll try to have, instead of just having it, we'll have it more like we did it on intergovernmental. We'll have all the subjects and all that stuff going out. So we'll move on to the mayor. She has no report. Anything? Then we're moving into the law director's report.
And I guess we can get right into the Fireworks Private Act. I think everyone's aware of the Private Act that was put forth in 2021, was approved, went to national, came back and was not approved. So working off of that, with Commissioner Palmer, we have modified some of the wording to help me out here. to be distributed to what, the sheriff?
No, we really didn't have, it was a suggestion.
Okay.
There was a fire marshal, that the fire marshal would, regulate, or, you know, all the violations and such, and then, the question was asked, where would the proceeds go?
I don't think, Mr. Chairman, the legislative committee has set this for an October meeting date, and I don't think everybody was ready is what's probably happening. And then we merged legislative with operations. So my understanding of the last motion was it was going to be distributed to what Jamie's saying, to the sheriff's department for comment, is that not correct?
Fire commission.
I'll make a motion that we defer this till the October operations meeting, because that's what my understanding was, that it was coming to us in October, and so I'll make
Right.
that motion.
Second.
Okay, motion and second, any discussion on the motion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, motion passes. Commissioner Wandale, on that, has the fire commission had the opportunity to discuss that?
Chairman Palmer came to the commission last month and spoke about it, and I think she has something she's going to bring or give to us
In October?
Tomorrow.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, all right, okay. All right, great. Mr. Brooks?
Okay, I'm gonna skip over the senior center copyright claim for just a minute. Coming out of, I think it was operations, and voted on by full commission, was to kind of restructure the audit committee, leave the number at 7 as I understand it, but have the membership come from the
Now, you're
budget
talking
committee.
about the nonprofit
No,
or the audit?
I'm talking
Okay.
about the audit right now. The nonprofit's been taken care of. That was reduced from 8 to 5,
Okay,
and that resolution's been passed. And it's
Okay,
already
so-
completed.
all right, go ahead.
I got one question on that
Yeah.
before we leave that subject, since we're on it. Jamie, so it's been reduced from 8 to 5. My question is, if the 5 make recommendations for these nonprofits to be funded, that comes to full commission for approval?
Yes.
Does,
Correction.
Goes
It
to
goes to
budget
budget.
first.
The nonprofit committee makes a recommendation to budget, then it's up or down in budget before it comes to full commission.
I guess my question is, and thank you for the clarification. Do we as a full body have the ability to say no or ask for something else to be revisited? Because, you know, again, Commissioner McCamey's mentioned this before, and you know what I'm going to say. We're going from 8 commissioners down to 5, and if we're assuming all 5 are going to show up, and if only 3 show up, those 3 make decisions on where we're going to put money in nonprofits.
You want me to answer?
Go ahead.
No,
Yeah, 'cause
I
that
mean-
was, that was my question.
Okay, from my, you know, and I'm not on the nonprofit, but from my understanding, the things that will run through nonprofit.
And it's come out of rules.
It came to rules, went to
Yeah.
full commission. We talked about it in operations last month also, and then it was passed on at full commission. That reducing the size because of so many eyes that are on, the chairman of that committee, which is Phil Yeager, we talked about how many eyes see it before it ever gets, it's 8 here, 8 here, 8 here, then he was saying 36 and all these numbers. But what it does is, from my understanding, nonprofit's gonna look at it and make sure it meets all the qualifications. If it does, then it would move forward to budget, and budget would approve money to it or not. So they would have 8, and if budget votes it down, it would not come to full commission unless we, by 2/3 vote, puts it back on, just like any other committee would be the same way.
So if in our full commission, we wanted to question something or turn it down, we'd have to have 2/3 do that.
If it, to turn it down?
To change it or ask something, you know, let's just say a few of us didn't agree with funding a certain nonprofit. Is there any way for us to stop that?
Yeah, 100%, majority vote.
So it'd have to.
It's gotta pass full commission.
Would it have to be 2/3 or is it gonna be
Just like anything else,
just a majority?
Just a majority. I mean, that's our rules for any outside of some money things that have to be
Simple
2/3 or
majority.
3/4, depending on where we're at. But yeah, simple majority, because it's being brought through committee system. The committee passes it, just like if something comes out of this committee, we can vote it, you know, it might be unanimous here, it gets voted down because somebody switches their vote and we lose 9-0, you know, 9-7, thanks, my math's really good
So the
tonight.
audit's been taken care of, or the nonprofit's already been?
My understanding, both has been
Yeah.
voted on by full commission.
That's
to-
correct.
Okay.
Yes. There was some, I guess I had some lack of clarification with regard to the resolution I'm preparing on the audit committee. So if we're still talking about nonprofit, I'll table that until we get finished with the nonprofit, and then we can talk about audit.
Mr. Chairman, the nonprofit originally, the commission, when they approved the budget, they set aside a certain amount for the nonprofit committee.
And it's still there.
And that's not the case now. There's no money available. The nonprofit committee basically now just recommends yay or nay to the budget committee. Then the budget committee would have to appropriate that money, vote to appropriate the money and send it to full commission. If you wanted to vote against it, you know, if the budget committee approves it, when it comes to full commission then to be approved, you could vote however you want to. But if it doesn't pass in budget, it'll never come to the county commission unless a 2/3, that's where the 2/3 would have to come in.
Right.
Vote to put it on the budget or on the full
If it didn't
commission.
pass out of budget.
If it didn't
Yeah.
pass out of budget, but as long as it, you know, there's no money available now for nonprofits, it would have to be appropriated from some fund and recommended to the full commission.
I think there's, and correct me if I'm wrong, Commissioner Foster, but I think there's a $16,000 limit. Is that
I think it's 15,000, but I was gonna look at somebody because I'm not on that committee. Is that correct? Yeah, I know we redid all the rules for that committee that they presented to us and kind of guidelines. You're on that committee, Commissioner Palmer. Somebody give me, yeah, 15,000, is that the cap? So yes, so 15,000 is what they can request. And then obviously any additional, because we've given other additional money to the Scarborough
And then
85.
the
we
money would
did.
have to come from the general fund.
Yeah, but there is no money designated in this current budget, but doesn't mean anything would come out of the fund balance or some other fund that we have money in.
Yeah, we used to just put 75,000 in every year for nonprofits, and I think the county attorney ruled that was illegal.
Mhm.
We couldn't do that, so.
Okay.
Also, Mr. Chairman, it's been a while since I've read the nonprofit resolution or the policy manual, but I think it is not intended to be a black hole like Finance Committee in the House or something.
Yeah.
So the committee can make recommendations. They can recommend it, or they can just send it on without a recommendation, but the intent is not to stop it from going to Budget Committee, but it's to do that initial vetting and make sure everything is in order, maybe hear a presentation. And so Budget Committee then at that point makes a decision, you know, we want to hear more, or this didn't come with a recommendation, why? And it doesn't mean it can't pass budget, but it's just meant to have that place, like here, where there's some discussion
To
taking
qualify.
place. Yeah.
Right, very much of, did they meet all the requirements? Are they a nonprofit? Did they, going through the instead of doing that at full, at budget and reading, okay, yes, here's their 501c3, here's where they're getting other money. The nonprofit's gonna have all that laid out, and then they can make a recommendation like the mayor said, or, hey, you didn't give us this doesn't qualify for something, so we're not gonna recommend it. You can bring it back to us, and that's my understanding how that committee's been working since they changed about a year ago, when all that was changed.
Okay. Any other discussion on nonprofit? Go ahead, Mr. Brooks.
Okay. Then with respect to the Finance Committee,
I don't,
Audit
the
committee, right?
resolution I have is audit committee.
audit, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
on the agenda it says finance committee,
Yeah.
but it is, we're talking about
Yeah, I
the
know,
audit
'cause I was
committee,
really
correct?
getting the panic
That was
there.
my clarification. I just
Yeah.
wanted some clarification on that.
Yeah.
Listen, maybe I just sort of drop back 10 and punt.
Quick kick.
Audit Committee. Audit Committee has 7 members, some county commission, and then there's an option for it to be others non-committee members. As I understand the resolution voted, or the motion voted on by commission, the number's not changing, but it will be composed of budget committee members only. Okay.
Yeah,
Then
that's
I'll
what we
have- I'll
talked
have your
about.
res-
And that's what
Resolution.
passed out of full commission.
Okay. Then
Right.
I'll
The
have your
members will be
resolution
budget
then.
committee members.
I'll have your resolution in the packet Wednesday.
And that's resolution 25-08-1228.
Yeah. Don't look at the one that's in with my report. It's gonna be updated.
Okay.
But that's the number.
All
That
right.
is the resolution number. Let's see, as far as the litigation side of it, let's see if I have any updates from when we. I guess with, not really litigation on the part of the county, but the opioid settlement, those agreements have all been signed by the mayor, so we're done with that. We had a September and an October deadline, and everything's in, so there's nothing more to do on that.
Okay. Any other questions from the law director?
You were gonna say something about the senior center? What?
Oh, where they're being blackmailed?
Copyright claim? Senior center?
Copyright claim. Yeah, there was a, I don't mean to be just, rash or aside with my statement. The calendar that came out at the beginning of the year featured on January 1st, Happy New Year 2025, and some, I think this outfit runs programs or whatever, which found the picture, claimed it to be copyrighted by some person over in Germany, and then auto-generated a letter to, actually I think it went to Mark Stevens instead of anybody else, demanding $5,700 for the use of that image. My recommendation is to send them a letter back to see if anybody's out there, any human, and see if they respond to the letter. But I'm not a copyright expert, but I do know there are numerous defenses to something like this. The first of all is you got to prove you got a copyright. Secondly, there are certain exceptions for the kind of use I think that this was made. So that was going to be my what I'd put in the report is I have drafted a proposed letter to send back to this outfit and put them to their proof if they want to follow up on it. A lot of what I'm finding out, these folks, they send this out and nobody hears from them again. And
So do you need any action on that tonight?
I don't think I do. It's just kind of reporting. I have the letter ready to go.
Okay. Before we move on, does anybody need a break? Okay, let's take a 7-minute break. right, we'll go back in session. Next is telehealth for animals. That's something that I had a constituent bring that to my attention. How this works now is like if you're a human, you can go online to get health care without, having to have a doctor's permission or something like that. But when it comes to animals, unless a veterinarian, if they have to be a client of theirs before they can do it, telehealth for animals. It's a state law, the way I understand it, and it's just like if this one guy, he's a farmer, and if he needs some penicillin for his, cattle or something like that, he has to go through a veterinarian to do it. He can't just go online like telehealth. So he's asked me to bring that in front of this committee to see if we do, we'll just have to push it over to intergovernmental for discussion next month. But the more that he talked to me about it, I thought, that's probably a pretty good idea, because not everybody can afford to get a vet on the weekend or can even run one down if they can do telehealth and so a veterinarian can do it without breaking the law. So if I could get a motion to send that to intergovernmental, I'll get some more information. Okay.
So I'm just for clarification, can we just defer it 30 days back? I mean, this committee, there is no intergovernmental relations committee anymore. I know we got it on the agenda, but that would just be where we put it on the agenda. So I think the proper would be defer it 30 days, and then we want to put it under that topic.
That's fine.
We're just trying to be more parliamentary procedure kind of going forward, because we don't have
Glad you're
those.
doing your job, Mr.
Yeah.
Parliamentarian.
Few more days.
Okay. So we'll defer to, for 30 days? Okay. Do we have a second? Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. So we'll take that up next month. Next is the traffic. I got it as traffic signal at Sinking Springs and Highway 61 intersection, but what it should be is actually a traffic study. Is what we're talking about. Commissioner Anderson and myself was approached by one of his constituents, and he's a friend of mine. Actually, he came to my shop and talked about it and said, he actually lives there. And if you don't care, I'm going to ask Mr. Jay Stewart to come up and speak about it. To know if WVLT has really bloated out on Facebook. So we got more recognition over that. And it's just, a traffic study. But go ahead.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jay Stewart. I live right across the street from Sinking Creek and the main highway there. And I don't know how much you guys go around there, but we get all on Sinking Creek. Everybody's coming around. You have that new development going in back there. I think it's 200 homes. You have everybody coming out there, and I'm going to call it a weekly basis. I'm just estimating, but there's an accident at that intersection just about every week, and I don't know how somebody hasn't been killed there yet, because when they leave out of, come over the bridge out of Clinton, they're moving on pretty good through there. And you have 4 lanes going both ways, and you got people coming out both sides. We were there with the news here last week, I guess it was, and there was a truck with a trailer, a piece of equipment on it, making the left turn to go into Sinking Creek, a person coming across to go up onto Llewellyn Hollow, and another truck behind that construction truck, and that person almost got hit, T-boned right there while we were there. And I mean, it is a very common problem there. And from what I've talked to some of the neighbors, they said this dates back all the way back when it was a 2-lane. That location has always been a problem. And somebody is going to get killed at that location. It's high traffic, high speed. Everybody's coming, like when the school's going on, they're coming around, going to get around the traffic on the main highway down there. So they're coming in and out that intersection. Morning traffic comes in and out there. Evening traffic. The traffic count coming through there is just unbelievable. And something really needs to be done with that, intersection there, because it has become a major intersection. And again, with the added homes, You know, when there's a problem on the interstate, I can tell from living across the street because they'll be backed up way down the road. They'll get off the interstate on down and come the back way around to prevent being in the traffic off that exit 122. I mean, it's anything that goes on from there over to the interstate, that area gets all that traffic. And it's really a dangerous place. You know, even of a mornings when it's foggy from the river there, there's mornings you can't see 30 feet coming out of either side. And I've seen mornings with the sirens and the police cars and the ambulance. I see it all the time, and you know, it's really a very dangerous intersection that needs some attention.
So I reached out to Roger Houck with the city of Clinton, since that highway's in the city limits of Clinton, and they own its city limits on both sides of the highway for all the way to the interstate. He did give me some traffic data on there. It's average of 25,000 cars a day that come through there. And he had been, back in March, they had gotten a lot of requests about a right-hand turn lane onto Sinking Springs. They sent that information to request to TDOT. TDOT was saying there's not enough room in the right-of-way there because of the traffic, the not signal lights, but the overhead lights. So it's not something they were doing. They are doing some extra safety precautions with this new repaving, but Roger had given me some information. They've had 12 wrecks since 2023, so at that location. So if you break that down, roughly that's 220,000 cars, 294,000 cars in that same time period. We've had 12 accidents.
There's been more than 12 within the last 6 months.
I'm just giving you the data that the city manager of Clinton gave me that's been reported by them. So I just want that information out there. So I know we can seem like more, but they've had 12 wrecks that they've got documented since 2023 in that. So, and that's one thing, if we were to do, he said TDOT might do a traffic study for you or not, just because they're already doing some other stuff there. But also, if we were to look at doing a traffic signal, I know that was what was in the news about looking at traffic and what was on the media. That is not something they would want to take on and maintain. That would be on the county to maintain that, and they don't have a desire to they already put a new one at, no, we did that one already, but the one at Senior Center at the Mara Point, so they're putting that one in. And it was very hard to get that one approved by TDOT, but they did get it based on some traffic data. So just sharing some information that I had from Roger Houck, who's the city manager of Clinton.
Commissioner Anderson.
Chairman, are you in the city limits there at your property?
He lives right there at Llewellyn.
I live
right,
When I
right
called
there on
you,
the
he's
highway.
in
Right,
your
yeah.
district.
I remember
Yeah.
we voted on the zoning.
Right.
I think when he.
There's
brought it.
actually 6 commissioners right there at that intersection.
Yeah,
Almost.
but I didn't know if you were annexed into this.
I honestly don't know if I'm in city limits or because it's all broke up through there.
Do you pay them city property tax? or-
I have so many properties I couldn't tell you where. We just send checks or go pay them.
Well,
all over.
It took us along with the Hunter's Trail red light there, and there were issues. It's kind of set up a lot like that for several years. But one of the things that we tried while we were waiting on the light, TDOT painted there in the median in the intersection. They kind of painted the lines and stuff because it seems like the way he's describing it, people don't know when they're crossing
no
the
direction.
median. Do I go my left or your left or what? So if they would just paint that out, I do think we need to do a traffic study. That'd be good. But in the meantime, if they don't want to put a light up, maybe ask for some marker, for some painting or something, directional signs.
I think it's our obligation as county commissioners, when somebody brings something that's a safety issue, is that we should take it up, at least worthy of discussion. Because it is, I've been out there, and of course I got blasted big time about putting a traffic light there. But what it is just awareness and doing a study. What can we do? Can we do turn lanes? That was one of the things.
There's already turning lanes there on the inside to go both directions, and
but they're not painted, like Commissioner Anderson was saying. So, have you got any input, Commissioner Wandale?
No, I mean, have we contacted TDOT or anything?
No, this is where it's starting at, right here out of committee.
But we have a road committee still, right?
Yes, we do that.
Let's, I make a motion to send it to road committee for further evaluation.
Okay, we got a motion second, send it to road committee. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimous. Thank you, Mr. Stewart.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay. Citizens for Animal Advocacy in Anderson County, deferred from August operations meeting. Commissioner Wandell, do you want to start here at this one, or?
Well, I sent an email out, and I think everybody around here understands where I sit. I'm all for an animal board, so I said I wouldn't bring it up again. I think it's time for my fellow commissioners to either vote it up, vote it down, kick it down the road, or whatever anybody would like to do. But I'm for it. If somebody brings it up, I'll vote for it, and if they vote to kick it down, I'll vote against it.
Okay.
I've got
Commissioner Foster.
some discussion on the proposal that was sent to us last month, but there's no motion on the table, so.
I'll make a motion to approve what was presented last month for discussion.
Okay. Motion second, now discussion.
So just looking over it, had some questions and concerns as I was looking at the proposal. And I'm not against the advisory board. I think we had one and we took it away because no one was showing up. And so then we talked about doing a task force. So, but looking at some of the layout of the board, it has 9 voting members, which I'm fine with. It says appointed by a county commission. I think there should be, because this is a department that falls under the mayor, I think she should have some appointing power in this. With obviously any appointment she makes would be approved by full commission. Also, it has 2 commissioners. I think that should be changed to 3 commissioners, just because it is a 9-body board. And I think if we're going to have that many members on the board, that we at least need 3 commissioners. And then the 4 at large, and so to get rid of one of the you still have the 4 at large, but the member with experience in public health, law enforcement, emergency services, I think that could be part of the 4 at large citizens. And I know it says advocates demonstrated commitment to animal welfare, shelter reform. I think it just needs to be taken at 4 at large citizens, because they might, who determines that level, right? And if they're a taxpayer and this is a board that we're putting together as commission, I think that we need some more flexibility in that. The other one too, I had a question, and I don't know if anybody can answer this, but they maybe can. It says a veterinarian or an animal welfare professional with an advanced degree. So I just was trying to get clarification on what that would be like. Are we talking about a animal science major with a PhD, or are we talking master level, talking PhD level, or are we talking about somebody from the ag extension? So that's just some of the questions I just had off the top. One other thing, I think it says 15 business days, any written recommendation the board makes with 15 business days. I just think that should be the next meeting. So if something comes up at a meeting that's presented to the mayor, then she has till the next meeting, because that would be where that information would go back to. So I don't think we need 15 days. I think it just needs to go back to that board. Then it can come to full commission after that. And then one other thing, these are just a few things I wrote down. Submit the annual report to full commission. I think that should be full commission / mayor should get a copy of that also. And the last part, and I don't know if this was part of the proposal, it says first year mandates, and had a couple of things. I think we should leave that up to the board. If the board gets established, they would establish what the timelines and mandates would be, instead of us saying these are the mandates of this board in the first 90 days, 60 days, whatever. So this is my thoughts. And so as it's written now, I could not vote for it. With some changes, I could.
Okay. Commissioner Wandell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I like all your points. I guess I just want to clarify one thing again. You continue to say that we had an animal advisory board. We did not have a board. We had a committee. You know, I think when you say that, it causes confusion for people because they think we had a board. We never had a board. There was a board once upon a time, way previous to that, but we were just a committee that made recommendations. As you well know, boards govern. The committees do not govern. Committees give suggestions. And whether the suggestions got implemented, we all can sit here and debate. So I'm in favor of a board. Thank you.
And I'll just say this board committee, I use them interchangeable. So yeah, we had a committee. I will clarify what I said. This one still states advisory only. So no direct operational costs. It's an advisory only board. So if that's what this board is going to be, an advisory board with recommendations that can come, I'm okay with that. But if it's a governing body, then I do have issues, and I think that's where a lot of the commissioners had with the previous one. It was a governing board. This was an advisory board, which like I said, I'm for. There's just some changes that I would like to see.
Well, again, Mr. Chairman, the other one was not a board that governed anything. It was just a committee
So the
that made
wording-
suggestions.
Yeah, so the wording that we'd be using now is board?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think the group is suggesting a board. You know, it's still advisory, but it's a board, meaning the board can make a decision. Now, if you're looking for something where the board can't have any decisions, and you're just really wanting them to just make suggestions, then I would suggest you go back to the committee. Sounds like that's what you're looking for is committee. You don't want the board to be able to make decisions. Is that, am I interpreting
No, I have
that?
no problem with the board making decisions. I just think if it's in an advisory role like this says, advisory only, I'm okay with that. The board, committee, board, that doesn't bother me. That terminology doesn't bother me one way or the other. So just for the clarification, board or committee does not bother me. Oversight committee and the way that other resolution was written, I had a lot of issues with it. I don't have many issues. I know I've probably listed a bunch, just some clarification on some cleaning things up is why I brought these two, and I thought that was, you know, kind of what the whole point of keeping it for a month. And then I'd be willing to ask if somebody wants to answer some of those questions that being presented. I'm A-okay with that. One other thing too, it says serve as a 1-year term. I think that should be expanded too. I think, you know, 1 year, and it says be reappointed, but I think if, you know, you have a board and it turns board or committee board, because that's what they want. So board, then that the whole board should not turn over in a year. I think that's hard to have continuity with that. So I think some terms, most of our boards, committees, serve a term. So you can make a commitment. Well, obviously there have to be some staggered term. Even the previous committee had members that had terms. So when that comes back up, we can be reappointed. Obviously, if a commissioner decides that's on this board and they decide that, let's say we got re-elections next year, somebody gets beat or doesn't run, then, you know, then we would have to fill those positions. But just having 1 year, I think it needs to have some terms. And I don't care to, like I said, submit these with changes. I just want to bring my thoughts to to this group.
Commissioner Anderson?
That all sounds pretty good to me as far as like three commission appointments, 3 mayoral appointments, 3 members of the public at large, get clarification on what an animal professional is besides a veterinarian. I mean, I think in the staggered terms, you know, makes sense for continuity. So I'd be okay if I need to amend the motion or just change the
Yeah,
motion.
you'd need to amend the motion.
Well, I'll amend it to accept Commissioner Foster's suggested
Okay.
changes.
Do we have the second that agrees to the amended?
I'll second it.
Well, we already had a second over
Oh,
here.
sorry.
I had a question. How long are the terms gonna be? If we're going from 1 year? you're
Yeah,
saying
I
to-
wrote down
what?
3. I'm not
3-year
set on
terms?
that
Okay.
because I think this first time you'd have some staggered terms. So, you know, somebody's, when you first put it on, would only serve a year. The veterinarian or mental welfare position could be a 1 year starting out because maybe that veterinarian gets on there and goes, I don't want to be on this committee anymore, right? So I think that, and just like I said, I think the member with experience in public health, law enforcement, EMS services, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it should just be as part of the at-large group. So, and I can, if you all want me to, I can, if I can get the edited document, if somebody gives me the, because all I have, I don't have a PDF, I don't have a Word, I just have a PDF. I don't care to edit and put in these changes for full commission by Monday. I can put mine in there. That's how, if this board approves going forward with it.
Sounds good to me.
Is anybody here from that group tonight?
Yes. I mean, I
Okay.
think everything you said, I appreciate that you took that much, effort and thought and put into it. And I think all that sounds great. I have no issue with any of it. You guys are the experts when it comes to this type of setting and arena. So, I think that all sounds really good. We were just kind of collecting data from how other places have done it and sort of trying to find the median, and also what the previous committee had recommended previously for the proposals. So we just kind of try to hit a middle mark. So everything you're saying, I think it sounds great, and I think it makes sense.
Yeah, and that was my understanding. I thought, when you guys presented as a starting point, I would like, insight. And Mayor, obviously, this is a department that falls under you. And so I don't know if you've looked at this, how it compares to some previous boards, and if you've got some thoughts on it too. But like I said, I was trying to bring some thoughts from last month that we just got the information, so thought we'd have more discussion this month. And if we needed even to 30 days, again, after we have some discussion, to kind of get everything cleaned up, and the law director be involved with that. But I wanted to get the mayor's thoughts too.
Well, I mean, I think calling it a board or a committee, the reality is it is still something that's advisory unless you intend to violate the separation of powers. So I will say that my folks showed up for the meetings for the committee, had many of the same things in here. You did not have quorums. In October, this body dissolved that. Then in February, this idea came again. It was voted down. I think what we're when I look at the leadership of who stands in front of the podium and says this is not political, it's absolutely political. The presenter last month, you can look online, they're all wearing their Josh Anderson for t-shirts. This is basically operating as a political action committee. On the website, you can see the individual say, "We're out to change the world or be mischievous."
Mr. Chairman,
It's
I
still,
thought the question
Mr.
was-
Chairman, I am allowed to talk.
Mr. Chairman, I thought the question from the commissioner was, he would like to get her thoughts on the resolution. I didn't know we're gonna listen to some storytelling going on. Look, it's simple. The mayor can say she's not for it. That's all she has to say.
Point of
We don't
order.
need to hear
Point of
about
order.
all the
Point of
other
order.
stuff.
Hold on a minute.
I'd like to stay with the item on hand. Thank
Got
you.
it. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And if we could document for parliamentary procedure, point of orders need to be clarified. There was an interruption, and if we could have a ruling from the chairman.
I think what we're going to do is we're going to move forward. Commissioner Foster asked for your input.
And I'm interrupted. Apparently, my speech is not as important as others. So I'm pointing out that the individuals that are in front of this committee bringing this proposal, who last month said it wasn't political, are everywhere operating politically. And the quote was, "We're going to change the world or be mischievous." Now, it's still up in the air, and I'm happy to submit that and put that in the minutes. I can work with people, Mr. Chairman. I do it all the time. And we can look back at a history of grants in this county and go back in the day and look at what we're doing now and the tax dollars that we're saving and we're bringing into this county The organizations that I lead, I'm the president of, and it's because I can work with people, and I work with people of all stripes. I would request that this be deferred to May 11th, 2026. That gives the opportunity for Mr. Anderson and I to have the primary out of the way, and whoever the victor is, we can move forward with a committee at that point in time.
Okay. All right, we had a motion to approve as amended from the maker of the motion, but we haven't had the second. Who made the second in that? That's what I thought. And so we would need for your approval as amended. If not, we'll have to vote on the original motion.
Yeah.
I'm moving ahead with what I originally voted
Okay,
on.
so you're not going to second his amended motion, right?
I am going to second his amended motion.
Oh, you are
yes.
going to
Yes,
second
sorry.
his amended motion?
Yes.
Okay,
I got a question.
yes.
I was wondering if Mr. Brooks approved what was presented before the amendments. Did he have a chance to review that and sign off and say that that was good?
That was gonna be my next question after getting the mayor's.
And then we would need to have him review the amendment. So I don't think anything's going to move forward in full commission, but I just want to know if he's reviewed what was presented before us, approved it, and now he'll have to do the revisions
No,
of the
because it's never
amendment.
been approved yet.
Okay.
And what, I
So-
guess, the proper procedure would be for it to be submitted to the law director to make sure that everything is the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, we got to make sure we're in good legal standing, and that's what our law director's for. So I just want to make sure that he reviews everything and we're good as a county.
Okay. All right, if this is approved.
And I will just, with the changes I have, I would like to defer it 30 days and let Law Director Brooks look at it, and I'll send him I don't know if you have the original document, I'll send you my changes, that way we're not rushed by Monday and come back for more discussion, and there could be more changes, right, that we look at, and everything, so I'd at least like that 30 days, but I'll let him speak if he's seen it or not.
So submitted for my review will be this proposal with Commissioner Foster's changes. That's what I will be reviewing.
And make sure that we're doing everything
Right.
legally, standard, like how it needs to be. I'm assuming it needs to be a resolution to establish this.
Yes.
And not just this proposal, so, but yeah, that.
Okay.
So I'll make the motion to 30 days. We're back to this committee next month, not
Okay,
30
do we
days.
have a second on the deferral?
Second.
Okay. All right, let's vote on the deferral. All in favor to defer, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes to defer. But we are making headway. But, all right.
Mr. Chairman, real quickly, I'd just like to, Commissioner Foster, thank you. I appreciate the time you put into it. You've obviously researched it all, and I appreciate your suggestions. I don't want you to feel I'm being adversarial at all. I just thank you very much for taking the time to do what you did, and I thank you. Thank you.
I was impressed. Yeah. Okay. All right, we're moving on to Clean Water Rosedale Community Update.
Mr. Chairman, I think we covered that. If
We
you-
did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, then we're moving on, Anderson County Government 2026 holiday schedule.
Motion to approve.
Motion to second. Does anybody want to know what those are if you don't have them in front of you?
Still about 2 days in July.
Yep, Thursday, Friday, July 2nd, July 3rd.
Okay,
Okay.
sounds good to me.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. ACWA minutes, we don't have any strategic planning update.
Yep, the 2 dates we're still looking at, and I did not get an email out, I will, that November, I wrote that down, November 7th or 14th. It's a Friday, so, working on some things with CTAS.
No,
Oh, okay. That's like a different question. So 7th or 14th. So if one of those days don't work for you, or one works better, please go ahead and email me, and then I will shoot out an email to the full commission too. So I've been out of town, so haven't got to that.
You said December? What?
November 7th
November, sorry.
or 14th. It's 2 Fridays back to back. Those look to be the best times.
Okay, no, the softball game's been moved to November the 15th.
Okay.
And that's when the city of Rocky Top will prevail in that softball.
Is it a city tournament? I thought it was county versus.
No, it's
cities.
Rocky Top City, Oak Ridge, Clinton,
Okay.
and Anderson County government.
Are you playing on which one are you playing on there?
Well, now what do you think?
Tim,
Okay.
I had a.
Uh,
Hey, Tim.
Unfinished business. EPA.
Hey, Tim.
Oh, I'm
Hey,
sorry.
sorry, it's okay. I had a question about the ACWA minutes. When's the last time we got them? Because it seems like every time I'm looking, we haven't received some in the last
They put
1 or
them
2
online
months.
now.
Okay, okay.
So they just hadn't been,
Given to us?
given to
Okay.
us. And that, you can take care of that, can't you?
Yeah, they have their meeting like the day after we have county commission meeting. That's why they're a month getting to us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And it's an open meeting too. I mean, you'll really like going. You get the opportunity. It's limited seating, so they may have to move a wall.
Yeah.
Next week.
Yeah, it'd be next Tuesday.
Third Tuesday of each month.
Yeah. EPA fact sheet, emerging contaminants funding sources comparison. I don't have anything on that. Anybody else got it? You know anything, Mayor? Okay. All right, we'll just take and we'll defer that till next month, find out a little bit more about that. Do you have anything on that, Law Director? No. Okay.
Who did it come from?
I have no idea on that one, to be honest with you.
I don't think we defer it. I think if somebody wants to bring it back up, they'll call you and put it on the agenda.
Well, I guess what I'll have to do is find out where it's coming from, yeah.
I don't think I've seen that before, even on.
Well, I think Mr. Terry and Mr. Wandell brought it up as one of the potential grants that was mentioned, and I did ask.
For the water line.
Yeah, I did ask John Prince to look into it, to see if Anderson County is an eligible recipient, or if it, or applicant, or if it needs to be the state of Tennessee or somebody else like that. So John is looking into that.
Okay.
The grants guy.
All right, okay, now we know. Thank you. Next is the traffic on Carroll Hollow Road and Highway 116. We've got a sign up there now that says no combination traffic to the left. We've talked about, and I guess most people that's come through Clinton here in the last week or so, when you come 61 to Main Street, you see that big sign that says no truck traffic, follow detour route. That's what we need on 116 and on the other. Of course, it's not on 116 because you're going to have to put it in Oliver Springs before they enter into, because it's just like once you turn on Sulphur Springs, it's too late. So if we have a sign, that's going to have to be right there where the church is at, basically in Clinton. Because once you turn left, you're committed. There's nowhere to turn around. So that's something I think the Budget Committee is working on some funding for that. But we got some good press over that one, talking about that. So, all right. The new business was Mr. Waterman asked us to discuss letter to TDEC. I don't know if anybody wants to take that up. I know it's a short window. It would have to be done and be ready by the 15th. Have any suggestions, recommendations?
The deadline's gonna be before we meet, right? The county
It's
commission.
actually on the 15th. And so it'd have to be done and decided on Monday night, and then it'd have to be sent before midnight, the way I understand it.
Mail don't run much after midnight. I don't think they get it delivered.
Oh, they run those before midnight.
We may be still here by midnight.
That's true. That's true. Mayor?
Mr. Chairman, individual commissioners could definitely go on and make comments, and that might be, you know, give everybody time to go do some research and see. You may be for it, you may not be for it, so, I mean.
Is there a portal for that?
When there are public comments, usually I haven't looked at this particular one, but whether it's TDEC, EPA, it's groups, citizens, anyone can go on, or a county mayor, or you could submit a letter on behalf of the government. So it doesn't mean that you all can't comment. It would just, but I'll verify that for you.
Yeah, that may be the route to go right there. I think, is just let everybody do their own thing on it, because we could get into something, you know, this is gonna be something, it's gonna take the law director time to draft it, and then, you know, I'm like everybody else, I don't like to get it 30 minutes before. So, okay. So we'll just let everybody know if there's a portal there, you can go and express your concerns. Okay, any other new business to come before this committee?
Mr. Chairman, I had one other thing. I got an amendment to the motion. I got the correct acronym, okay? I had it wrong. The motion to respectfully request Anderson County Water Authority to pursue the AML grants. Those AML grants are AML fee grant and then AML IIJA grant. And I'd like to amend that motion so Annette will have the correct acronyms there. If that's,
Okay.
or Annette, can you just get to make that change? You don't need a motion or anything? Okay, thank you. I just want to.
No, that's clarification.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Okay. Any, Mayor?
Yeah, just real quickly, I wanted to let you know, I'm kind of working on something just from a positive standpoint about the water projects. So I just wanted folks in the community, especially to know all the discussion that's taking place about New River, the history of Anderson County government, as well as ACWA, and running water lines to those areas is quite extensive. And so, for instance, going back to, this one's pretty far, but 1996, I mean, this is long before many of us. Anderson County put in the grant. Anderson County was the grantee and served 65 residences at Braden's Flats for a project total of $590,000, which is a huge grant if you look at 1996 and inflation.
CDBG.
I don't know what particular. I think that was that AML grant. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Then Val Mountain Water Line in 2002 served 25 residences. That was a match from Anderson County and USDA for $400,000. A total project cost of $890,000 that served 25 people. And then there's on and on. So we've got New River 77. That was back when it was ACUB in 2007. There was 100,000. Another New River in 2009 served 45 residents for 100,000. 2012 there was one that served 30 for $348,000 project total. Then we go to Seaber Flats Water Line, served 5 residences for $280,000 plus. Tennessee Hollow Upper Val Mountain, 5 residents for $163,832. Anderson County at that time matched $25,000. Bryceville, some water line repairs for $284,582. These are the AML grants, or participated in all of these in part, maybe not the whole investment. And then I could not get it by tonight, but I've also asked ACWA, like what they've done in-house over the years for some of the same area. And so there's Beech Grove, there's some other areas with New River and Bryceville, Old Dutch Valley, Lake City Highway. And I'm trying to get you a grand total there. Just I mean, sometimes it's like even tonight, the discussion, you know, we forget about the things that we do to partner with folks in all of the communities. So even like TDEC, I think about this county gave part of our ARP monies to all of the, so the City of Oliver Springs got some, Commissioner McCamey, City of Oak Ridge got some, all of our cities got some from our funds. Then, you know, there are other things. The county has matched funding on Norwood sidewalks. That's within the City of Oliver Springs. Another example, Commissioner McCamey, that you supported on that. So, you know, sometimes we forget about these things because we see the needs in front of our face at the moment, and government is a very long process. It's, but there's been a commitment by this county to work for folks in your district and getting those water lines. We've had a lot of success there. So I'll finish working on that, but that's some for getting started.
Okay, while we're talking about that, you know, we approved some money, and I think we was going to do the water lines in high school. We didn't have enough to do Savage Garden and that. Where are we at with that?
So I did meet with, so I've met with Jeff Elrod about that, and discussing those particular areas. Savage Garden is going to be a real, that one's going to be a real struggle because of the rock. But we did go over all of that, and he's going to continue to look at what we can accomplish, maybe even in their own work plan or partnering on other grants. And then I met with the Hallsdale Powell Utility District on the Hines Creek area. And that was already going to be moved to their area because they have a water line partway down that road. And so they would like to connect to Union County. It makes sense from their business plan. And he said they're going to investigate it. He was going to get with the engineer who worked on our project with us and see what that looked like and what they could do.
Okay. All right. Anything else? Motion to adjourn. Thank you.